Okay guys, so today I'm going to walk you through how I've set up Buzz. I'm a solo founder and I'm using it right now for some of the things when I'm building products. So you can think of Buzz as like a multi-agent harness for Slack and GitHub. So a way to have Claude and Codex or any other agent Hermes all in Slack together when you're building a product. What I've done is, like, as you can see here, I have like Step Racers, which is my mobile app. I have the Portugal Golf Society. I have Paytoll and I have General. I basically break the channels down by products, okay? And then in each channel, there's multiple agents. So you can have Codex, you can have a research agent, you can have Hermes, you can have Claude, and then you can tag them and ask them to do things. So for example, for Step Racers, I'm trying to increase my B2B outreach. So I said like, hey, Bumble, can you create a CRM with our existing, LinkedIn engagement, and give us a CRM? And so what it's done is it's built me the CRM. So if you take a look here, boom, it built as a CRM. And so all I need to do is go through different prospects and contact them myself. So Bumble had done the research and built and fetched basically customers in my niche and then went and built me this CRM. Okay, so that's one thing that it does really well, I find, is like using research. Okay, let's jump back into Buzz. Okay, so let's take a quick look around. So if you go down into your settings, for example, you can take a look here at agents. Now, this is kind of one of the most important things. It's the different types of agents that you have and the harnesses that they have. So you can have Claude, you can have Codex, and then you can select which models they are. So for example, I have it running Opus, but you can make it Fable. And then same in Claude, Claude, you can choose which models you want to use when you're running it. Okay. It also has a mobile option. So if you want to start to pair with your actual phone and walk around, it's quite useful because I think a lot of people are still coding mostly on the laptop, but with Buzz, you can actually spawn these agents and tell them to do tasks when you're on the go, which is super useful. Okay, so let's go back into the agents here from the nav. And so this is where you actually create an agent. So you start with three of them. You start with Fizz, Honey, and Bumble. And these are some default agents that come with Buzz. So for example, this one, Bumble, is like a research agent. It gives you, some information and tells you, go and fetch things and do research. And then you can also go in and customize them if you want. You can choose the harness that you want. I'm going to use Claude for now. And so what I've done is I actually just brought in Codex and Claude as their own specific agents. So I have Codex here. I can go in and click edit. I've set up the harness for Codex in this one. I select the model and then I give it a bit of instructions. So I say, staff level engineer, et cetera, and give it a big prompt. And I also give it a bit of contextual awareness saying like you are actually in the hive here in Buzz. And then I've also done that with this one, who I call Forge. This is actually mostly just Fable. Or Opus, but I'm mostly using Claude with this one. But you're a staff level engineer again. More about coding and how you do your code, and then you have the harness again. Here I'm using Claude and then Opus for these ones. Okay, so let's jump over into the project section. So projects are kind of like an overview of everything that you're working on at any given time. So you get kind of an overview of like PRs that are done, where the pull requests are, and which repositories they are. You can come in, you can create new projects in here just by clicking up here, either a project or issue or pull request. So when you open up a project, it's a little bit similar to a GitHub project, but you can say like what the repository URL is, what's the website URL. It's all kind of just giving additional context to these agents when you're building, which can be also quite useful. And so lastly, I think like one of the biggest unlocks for me is sort of like, if you could think of it almost like multiplayer AI coding development. That's really where the big unlock is, because you have all this context, you have all the projects, you have all the repositories in one place in Buzz. And so what happens is you can go into settings and then you can invite people into your workspace or community. And why that's big is, let's say I invite like my girlfriend, for example, into here. She can start to chat with these agents and tell it to build things. And it has all the access to the repositories and the context and things, the runtimes, etc. So for communities, it could be a really big, interesting unlock, in my opinion.